The market is down today, but 3 Barron's stock picks are up. I'm Jack Otter, editor of Barrons.com. I'm here with Jack Howe, a senior editor at the magazine.
Our camera guy says my hair is sticking up. It won't go down. I mean, I don't know. Can we edit that out in post-production?
Both of us are a little follically challenged, so I think take what you can get.
All right.
You know. So HPQ.
Yeah, one of the cheapest stocks around. Some of these legacy tech names have been beating the market of late. Microsoft and Xerox and so forth.
For the ticker challenge, we should point out that HPQ is Hewlett Packard.
Hewlett Packard, right. And, it's cheap, certainly relative to those other big names. Even relative to a company like Xerox, it's trading at a pretty big discount. It's under 9 times earnings. So this is a company where, Meg Whitman has been in charge for a few years and leading a turnaround. And analysts describe it as basic blocking and tackling. It's nothing revolutionary. It's just doing a better job managing inventory, generating more free cash, paying down debt. And they talk about basic improvements. Salespeople there have more confidence. They're given better tools. And this is not a growth stock, okay? It's in some very challenged industries, personal computers and servers and things like that. But you don't need a lot of revenue growth when you're starting at 9 times earnings and you're generating a lot of free cash. We heard from Meg Whitman this week via email. She says, well, they're going to return about half the cash to shareholders. There might be some small acquisitions to add to some growth areas like security and cloud computing, but nothing big. Hewlett Packard had a disastrous history with acquisitions before Whitman got there, so it's good to hear that there's no monumental ones on the horizon.
You had a nice line in there. You said that the only thing they got for, $24 billion worth of buying Compaq was a Q in their ticker.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Compaq computers around lately.
That's kind of my problem, though, with this investing in this industry is, they make commodity gray boxes, printers, computers, but I guess your point is that they're so cheap that it's just worth getting part of that cash flow.
And there are some opportunities out there to gain a little bit of share. IBM is selling a low-end server business to Lenovo, the same thing it did with laptops. And back then, Hewlett Packard was able to grab a point of market share in the transition. If it can do that with servers, that's a lot of money. Microsoft is going to stop supporting enterprise customers that use XP. When that happens, maybe some customers who are upgrading to a new operating system will buy some new machines. So some people see a potential for a return to small revenue growth over the next year here. Whether or not it happens, there's still some pretty, I think the stock has 20% upside from here with or without a return to revenue growth right away.
Okay, let's transition to inside the machines. Tiernan Ray has a story about chip stocks that he says are undervalued, although some of them actually are analog, so they're not, might not be in the HP computer so much.
Yeah, analog, if you're a person who is thinking home stereos in the days of records, analog sounds like old-fashioned, but analog are the really profitable chips, the ones that interact with the outside world, temperature and things like that, control in cars and for factory automation. And so you've got companies like Texas Instruments and Analog Devices that are doing very well there. And he points out that a stock like Qualcomm still looks cheap in mobile phones, but he does not like Broadcom. He says it's had somewhat of a quixotic campaign to try to take on Qualcomm, and it hasn't worked as well.
Qualcomm has just been killing it. It's a favorite of Scott Black in the roundtable. It's been doing very well in mobile. Intel, of course, has had trouble breaking into mobile, but that stock is up today also. Tiernan mentions it got an upgrade, so it's finally moving a little higher, but still paying
maybe part of that legacy tech rally.
Exactly. Finally, let's talk about restaurants. David Englander has a story about, I'd actually never heard of Bravo or Bravo Brio.
I'm surprised at that. Is that because this is was it a sort of mall-based Italian restaurant you haven't eaten there?
No.
Are you one of these New York City food snobs who refuses to eat at an Olive Garden or any kind of chain Italian restaurant?
Exactly. Something about $70, for dinner for 4 when it's kind of generic. I don't do it. I want to go to the local little joint where it's probably not getting an A from the health department, but at least it's some Italian guy going to cook me something I can't get at home.
Good news for all the restaurants out there with B's and C's.
Exactly.
So this is a company that, like many restaurant chains, it lost some sales due to some bad weather this year, but the stock looks cheap here, and it generates about a 6% free cash flow yield. It's a company that's able to expand from its cash generation, doesn't have a lot of debt.
Very important.
And so our writer thinks the stock looks cheap here.
And Englander has a very good track record.
Let's go for a meal there this week and see what we think.
Go for it. One thing we need to point out, all these stocks up today, even though the market is down. Thanks very much, Jack.
Thank you.